Yeah. FBA dreams, FBM hustle, private label stacking muscle, Intel rank on the track. We on guess.
Hello and welcome to another episode of intelliTALKS. And today I have a special guest, and his name is Mike Frekey from IG PPC. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Marcel. Thanks so much for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And yeah, for those who don't know, I'm thinking that, the IG PPC is pretty much obvious. These guys are wizards when it comes to PPC management. So today we'll be having a very good and, let's say, practical conversation for Amazon sellers, specifically around brand analytics and how to prepare for Q4, because most of the brands are making a lot of money during Q4. So yeah, pretty much some of the brands are taking up to 60-70% of their profit in Q4. Why not get prepared and do the best thing possible? But yeah, before we dive into that, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself and about IG PPC.
Absolutely. Well, hello, everybody. Once again, my name is Mike Frekey. I am a managing partner at IG PPC. First, a little bit about me. I'm a 10-year Amazon vet. Got my start in the world of agencies, but I actually am probably most known for my 3 years at Perch, one of the large aggregators where I was head of advertising, managing a multi-million-dollar marketing budget. Did that for 3 years, had a whole lot of fun doing it, but now I am back over to the world of the agencies, specifically with IG PPC. We are a full service Amazon advertising agency. So any advertising questions you have, any needs you guys have, we'll be able to help take care of you. And from my side, my number one focus with everything is just put my partners first. I want to make sure that we are always providing value in whatever way we can. And so here on intelliTALKS, my goal is just make sure that this is a very actionable conversation. I want to make sure that everybody listening feels like they understand how to best prepare for Q4 and walks away with a couple of actions that they can take themselves.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Mike, and thank you for taking the time to be here. And yeah, let's dive into it. Tell us a little bit about how you would look at the historical way, when it comes to keyword research and brand analytics. How would you position the research? How would you start? Let's start from ground zero, for example, for anyone out there, what to look into and what to pay attention to. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, first, I will say brand analytics is, ever since it came out a couple years ago, has been one of my favorite tools that Amazon's ever released. I am glad you used the word historical, because Amazon has been sort of deprecating a lot of historic data that sellers get access to. I think most people are aware, business reports, you only get a 2-year look back window. At API, you can only go back as many as 65 days from the point that you start connecting things to the API. And while there's an API for some of the ASIN level brand analytics data, there's no API yet for the, at least as of recording, there's no API yet for the brand level data. So what I like to do with my team is go through and actually just pull a lot of historic reports. That way we have them for future use. I believe right now you can go back about 15 months. And so even though brand analytics has been out for well more than 15 months, know that as you sort of go back in time, or it might be around 20 months, something like that. But I have lost the ability to pull brand analytics reports for back in I think it was end of 2022, end of 2023, when Amazon first made brand analytics data available. So make sure that you are pulling that data on at least a monthly basis, if not a weekly basis. For me and my team, we are pulling this data on a weekly basis. That's the first thing. Outside of that, I am always just trying to go back to the Q4 period of last year so that I can pull, really it's any reports I have my hands on. So even though this is mostly going to be a conversation around the brand analytics side of things, I will call out, make sure to download your advertising performance reports. Their main ones I like to use are search term impression share. There are some campaign level reports you can use. And the big one for me is advertised ASIN. So make sure that you're at least getting your advertised ASIN search term impression share report pulled. If you're talking about this year, schedule those to pull monthly. That way, when you are in 2026 and you are trying to see, hey, what happened last Q4, you have those data reports available, because you simply cannot pull them now for last year. You would have had to have pulled them already last year in order to have them for this year. So if you did not do current you a favor, make sure to at least do future you a favor.
I love that, Mike. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would also then go into the brand analytics side of things. What am I actually doing with this information, right? Like, how am I trying to make this a usable piece of data? So for me, I'm going through, you can either do all of Q4 as a quarter, Amazon will let you pull this quarterly, or I would more so recommend pulling at least the monthly numbers. So show me October, show me November, show me December. When I'm doing this, and this will sort of vary depending on how wide of a brand you're using, I'm mostly doing this at a brand level. You can do this at a child ASIN level. If you're doing this at a brand level, you get 1,000 keywords representative of your entire brand. If you do this at an ASIN level, you get 100 keywords per ASIN that you pull. Obviously, if you have variated children, you're going to see a lot of overlap on those terms. Yeah. So typically, I'm doing this at a brand level. I'm going to continue this conversation as if we're only talking about doing this at a brand level. So now what you get to see is show me what terms I sold the most product on as an entire brand last year by month. So you can start to see how your sales actually changed search term by search term, month by month. What were your biggest terms in October versus did those grow, and were those still your top terms in November, December? Or did you actually start to see certain, for example, giftable terms start ramping up in November, December? I'm going to guess for most people, you really aren't going to see a huge amount of gift-specific terms ramping up for you, mostly because that's just not how that many people are shopping on Amazon. And when I say shopping, I mean purchasing. I don't just mean looking, but actually purchasing. A lot of those gifting terms tend to not drive a ton of purchases. So I want to see, are these terms actually changing for where my focuses are in October versus November, December? And then based on that, I want to identify, are the market, is the actual, like, what are people purchasing on Amazon changing going from October, November, December? See, Marcel, one of the most interesting pieces to me about why I like brand analytics is because it will not only tell you, here are the search terms that you are selling on, it will then show you, here are the search terms that everybody related to you is also selling on. So you get to see these full, like, first party Amazon sales numbers. And so for me, I use my own sales as like a minimum baseline to say, I need to have some level of relevancy to these terms. Because if I see, oh, Amazon sold 100,000 units of product and I sold 0, I'm probably just not all too relevant for that term. So I don't mind missing out on those sales. But I found that this can be a really exciting way to identify, hey, I was probably dropping the ball last year, right? Like, there might be 5,000 search sales going in November on a specific search term, and I maybe got 20 of them. And I go back and I check those historic advertised numbers, and I can see, oh, I just did not advertise on this search term at all. I backed into a couple of sales organically, and based on the fact that I still got 20 of those sales out of those 5,000, I can, again, there's a little bit of, you know, your products. You'll know if this is something that is truly viable for you or not. But assuming that these are viable terms, you want to make sure that you're taking those, like, big market defining terms and advertising on them. One of my, like, core best practices anytime I'm taking on a new client is to try to identify what are your market defining search terms, so I can guarantee that I'm at least targeting them in an exact match basis in my advertising campaigns. Hopefully you don't have a whole bunch missing, in the sense of just being more of a, well, can I be getting more top of search placements, make sure that I'm just not losing visibility out to my competitors. But from time to time, you will find that there are very meaningful sales driving keywords that you just simply missed. And brand analytics is one of the best ways to identify them.
Oh, yeah. Amen to that. Actually, yeah, that's the best place to look, in the first place to look, actually, for keywords and everything related to how your brand is behaving. We personally love that. So from our experience, definitely a must go to. But how do you, let's say, look at the market share, for example, and how would you, let's say, identify the market share that you're tapping into? How can you expand? It's first of all related to your keywords, to your competitors, and yeah, we start from that, like, yeah, normally.
So there's, I'll call it, 2 main areas that I'm looking at. One is, again, using this brand analytics data, it is showing you how many sales you have, how many sales your, like, the entire market has, including you. So there's a very basic calculation you can do on either a term by term basis, or you just add everything up together, my sales divided by market sales. But don't stop there. That is the most basic way that you can do it. And to be honest, that's going to give you very messy data to actually try to take action on. What I'm going to do is two things. One, I want to review those search terms. Again, let's assume that we're using your branded like top 1,000. I'm going to remove anything where you don't have a single sale on it. If I don't have a sale on it, theoretically, there might be some of those terms that, again, they're missing, but they're lower volume ones.
Yeah.
I really want to make sure I'm ignoring any of those areas where I'm selling dog brushes and somebody just searched the word dog and there's 1,000 sales on Amazon and I'm none of them. I'm like, I don't care if I'm none of them because I don't strategically want to pursue the word dog. So I want to remove that out. So I'm going to clean up this list to make sure that I'm only looking at the meaningful search terms. The second thing I want to do is actually remove myself from the market. So, right, you want to make sure that you're talking about market share and just seeing, okay, on this clean list, I am 80 sales, there were 1,000 remaining, so I have an 8% market share. I want to ideally grow that over time. Part of growing your market share is actually just trying to identify, am I competitive with everybody else in the market? And so I'm now taking that step further to evaluate my market share on a basis of what are my conversion rates like in this market. So in addition to using your your brand analytics sales versus the market sales, I'm now going to be comparing your brand analytics sales to your brand analytics clicks to get you your brand analytics conversion rate. I'll give like a very brief caveat. Brand analytics is not a perfect data source. It uses a 24-hour cookie, meaning anybody who clicks and then ends up fully purchasing within 24 hours, those people get tracked. Any sales that take place after 24 hours from that click, you're not getting visibility into those. You don't get visibility into subscribe and save. You don't get visibility into people who are originating fully off of Amazon. So we're still only talking about a subset of your data, but it is that same exact subset that all other competitors are playing by. So then I'll do a similar thing where I'm looking at the market sales and the market clicks, but I'm actually going to remove my own data from that. So that is the market sales minus my sales, the market clicks minus my clicks. And so now I can start to get a clean market average conversion rate. What is everybody else in the market averaging for their conversion rate? What am I averaging for my conversion rate? I always want that number to be higher. I'll speak out to anybody who's listening who says, but Mike, I'm a premium product. I might sell my product for 3 to 4 times the price of the average competitor. One, I'm sorry, this is not going to be the best tool for you. You can still try to utilize it using add to carts instead of purchases. So instead of counting your count of orders, count by the sum of add to carts for you in the market. Because even if somebody is adding to cart and then they take a little bit longer to purchase than that 24-hour window, the add to carts are still, those are real time. You're generally not going to see somebody go onto your page and then say, I'm interested in this, but let me add it to cart a week later. That isn't a path that you can actually count on. So use add to carts if you're concerned about your product is just materially different from the rest of the market. And yes, if I'm not actually caring if my conversion rates are the same or better if I'm selling at 3 times the price, but now I just want to be estimating my revenue per click in the market. But we can, I think we're getting into edge case territory now. So for most people, I just want to see if the market is converting at 10%. I ideally want to be converting at least at that same 10%, if not maybe 11, 12.
Well, that would be amazing. But how do you identify the targets that you are in reach and, just go for the closest targets to hit, so to speak?
So one interesting thing about brand analytics is that they do assign some sort of a rank to all of your keywords. So it's again, branded 1 to 1,000. It is entirely black box. I do not know everything that goes into why certain terms are considered more relevant for you than others. We know it's a combination of factors like what is your click-through rate, what is your impression share, how many purchases are you actually getting, but it's not as simple as just, oh, let me order this sales high-low. you're not going to see that ends up being the top ranked terms. If you just want to, again, focus on, I need a small consolidated list of terms, and Mike, I don't have the time to comb through 1,000 different terms. Start with just your top 100. Again, this is actually a good area where if you wanted to do the ASIN level report, just pull an ASIN level so you're already defaulting down to your top 100. I will note, if you're using ASIN level data, it is only tracking sales associated with that child ASIN. So if you have a large number of variations on that page, you probably want to pull that for all of your variations and then sum the data together. It takes a little longer, but trust me, it is absolutely worthwhile if you want to do it this way. So you get yourself down to a more meaningful, more manageable list of ASIN terms anyway. Then from there, I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I mentioned already, I just want to remove anything where I don't have any sales associated with it. A general rule of thumb is I want to have at least a 1% unit share. If I have less than a 1% unit share, I am assuming that I'm just not relevant enough on a term for it to make sense for me to utilize data in this way. So for I'll calculate out what my unit share is, and anything that's sub 1%, automatically that's gone. That's going to cut out a large number of terms for most people.
Yeah.
After that, there is some level where personally, like, I'm going to take the time. I'm actually going to read each term one by one to try to see if these terms make sense for me. But let's make pretend right now you still have a large number of terms. And again, Mike, I just don't have the time. What else can I do to just get this down from 100 terms, maybe down to 25, and then from 25, I will take it. So you've already gotten yourself down from a purchase share perspective. Other things that I'm probably going to look at are I'm going to remove anything that has a massive outlier in median selling price. So for all of these metrics, you can start to see what the median price point is. And if I am selling a, call it $30 product, I want to filter out anything where that median price is plus or minus maybe an extra $15, so half of my price point. Hopefully that's going to remove some items where actually people are mostly buying higher prices or significantly lower prices, and you can tweak that number. You might say at $30, I know anybody who's buying a $20 version of it, they're not buying me. Anybody who's actually buying $40, they're not buying me. So you find out that number that based on your own research into your catalog, I'm assuming you have meaningful pricing. Then you're going to go and you'll just try to remove things based on that median selling price field. After that, there might be some extra words that you're willing to remove. For example, I always remove out brand defense targets because I know I'm going to have an 80% share on brand defense. So give me anything that contains I always think about this more in like word fragments, right? So like, or even just like text strings. So I know my brand name contains a certain, like, it's 5 letters in a row. And then after that, people might misspell it, whatever. Give me those 5 letters. You're getting out of here because I do not want to evaluate my market based on my name. I know I should be winning on my name. I might do another research step to see, am I actually winning on my name? Is there any area that I'm losing on? But outside of that, I want to remove that. Conversely, let's say you have a large number of different branded terms. I work with some sellers who each individual product, so in addition to having a brand name, each product has its own product name, and we don't want to have to find all of those. I'm actually very willing to just say, hey, any term where I have greater than a 50% purchase share, cut that out as well. Again, I'm going to say that those are by definition roughly the same for me. And so by doing that, you're trying to just whittle down this list to just the smallest number of terms that drive meaningful amounts of sales for your market.
That's amazing, Mike. So for everyone listening, this was like an SOP from Mike with all the details on what you can do. Now, you have 3 options here, the way I look at it. 1, you can either be like a guru in pivot tables in Excel and play with the information and do it yourself your own way. 2, you can tap into ChatGPT and try ChatGPT to help you out with this one. On 3, and I recommend this, go to Mike and his team to actually go through the entire process and ease up things, because at the end of the day, and I'm sure Mike hasn't disclosed everything they're doing behind the scenes, but yeah, as you can see, definitely there are a lot of technicalities and a lot of, let's say, edge cases that might occur. So you need the nose for those kind of things. But yeah, Mike, how are you reviewing, for example, the changes to customer behavior year over year? That's also a very important topic.
So one of the big things I like to look at, again, let's ignore all of like the different filterings we've done. I just want to see what were the sort by your sales high-low, right? I want to pull those numbers, and maybe I'm actually doing this month by month, right? So let's say I have these numbers pulled for October, November, December. Whatever my largest month is, I definitely want to know what are my top 10 sales driving terms from there. I want to see, were those still all my top 10 terms the month before, and are those my top sales driving terms right now? I think October is a really, really powerful month for people to identify. You're probably not doing nearly the number of sales in October as you're doing in November or December, unless maybe you're selling Halloween costumes. Good for you if you're in that market. Outside of that, though, I want to start to identify what are the terms that did huge volume for me last year that are not part of my October or even September brand analytics reports right now. That's one of the best ways for you to identify, more than anything, we're talking about changes to Amazon's autofills. So when someone is actually typing in words to Amazon, and then all of a sudden you say, I typed in 5 letters, Amazon knows what I'm searching for. Yeah, I'm going to click this one and I'm not going to finish my search. That is how the vast majority of traffic actually gets driven on Amazon. It's not somebody who knows exactly the search term they want. It's someone who has the idea of a search term and is then going to see what Amazon actually is auto-filling for them.
Yeah, the suggestions,
Yeah, so you can do this both for total sales, right? Like what is actually driving different sales. I then also want to be tracking this for changes in search volume. Even if you don't look at sales, period. If all you do is I grab my, for the time being, I don't know when this is going live. I'm still going to assume that you want to be doing this for Q4 only. So let's say you're in first week of November, you download your most recent October brand analytics file, and you compare that to your last year October brand analytics file. You're going to get a whole bunch of different terms, and I just want you to calculate the difference in search volume year over year. And there's some amount where I maybe care about this from a percentage, but honestly, more than anything, I just care about the actual raw volume number. I want to see anything that went from 300,000 sales or searches to 1 million searches. I want to see anything that went from 10,000 to 100,000. And so for me, that's where I'm trying to identify people are buying differently because they are searching differently, because for whatever reason, Amazon changed how they're showing these terms to people in their autofills. And those are going to be the terms that you really want to make sure you're ramping up on. So it's not just what did I sell on last year, but now you're also using that to identify, are the actual search volume trends changing on a word by word basis year over year?
That's amazing, Mike. Thank you for sharing that as well with everyone here. And yeah, I know you have a special offer for the audience here, so I'm going to bring it on the screen and I'm going to let you present it, if you please.
Absolutely. So we are offering free audits for all sellers who are, and I'll say sellers or vendors who are spending $10,000 a month on ads. Like I mentioned before, IG PPC is in fully ad-based agency. We will cover everything for you A to Z, but honestly, we won't even work with people unless we can audit the account first so that we can identify, is there an opportunity? Can we help you? If you're already in a great spot and you just want somebody who can tell you, hey, you guys are doing awesome on ads, we're more than happy to do that. But if you're someone who's saying, I want to make sure that we're taking care of everything and that we aren't leaving money on the table, let us do a very free audit for you. Just like this conversation, everything I do, I just aim to make sure I'm utilizing people's time to the best of their ability. I want everybody who walks away from an audit with me feeling like whether you want to work with me or you don't want to work with me, hopefully the former, that you feel like Mike Frekey used my time well. I understand my account better now than I did before. And I know how I am going to make my account make me more money going into this Q4.
Definitely, and a second opinion will never hurt, especially if it's from someone experienced with a lot of experience in the field, actually. So I totally encourage everyone to just go to this URL and try to get in contact. Do it. Get in contact with IG PPC and get that free audit. So once again, for anyone that's doing at least 10K per month, spending at least 10K per month, just reach out to IG PPC for a free audit. And why not? Conversation never hurt anyone. It's free. Amazing. Mike, go ahead.
I'll just also add, there's a box in there for you to put in any specific notes or questions. If you guys are interested, put in intelliTALKS into the contact box for us. That way, one, we'll know that you're coming from this podcast, but two, you will guarantee that I am, in fact, the person who does the audit for you. We have a large number of people at IG PPC, but I would love to make sure that I am personally running these audits for anybody who's interested.
That sounds amazing. Thank you for that, Mike, and thank you for the conversation today. It's been insightful. And yeah, if anyone has any questions for Mike, we also have here below, you can type in a question and I'll get Mike, the team actually will get Mike to input a good response if needed. So yeah, let's keep the conversation going, everyone. Mike, thank you again for taking your time to be here. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you soon again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Marcel. This has been so much fun.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time. Bye, everyone.
Keep the dream alive, keep pushing through from the first shipment to 1 million streams. We all got here chasing boxes and dreams.